The second critical choice I made on my journey was to commit to a two-way agreement. For me, that agreement was between me and my sister and her husband. And it really was a near contractual agreement when they took me in when I was 20 years old. When I think about a two-way agreement, maybe just to throw some context around it, and then I want to get your perspective on a two-way agreement that you've committed to, what you gave and what you got. I think about two-way agreement as two people or two entities coming together with a mutual desire for a positive, beneficial outcome. Both parties are in this for a beneficial outcome. They work together on constructing it. And then the power of that is when both parties commit to it. I think we probably enter these two-way agreements informally and formally all the time around us. What's your perspective on a two-way agreement? And is there one that, as you reflect, you would say has really impacted you?
It's funny. I mean, I think you're right. I think all day long, all the time, we kind of strike up these two-way agreements, that if we're lucky, the agreement is a win-win for both sides and, it's mutually beneficial for both sides. I think, maybe the one that sticks out is really back in early days in my career. Once my husband and I moved to California, I convinced a guy, I had zero club management experience, by the way, and convinced a guy who owned the company to give me a shot as a general manager. And in the very beginning, he was like, no, you don't have any sales experience. Sorry. And I didn't have any business development experience. And so I saw an ad in the paper for a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor position. And I had been side hustling in both of those areas to try to really better understand the fitness industry itself, where the opportunities were. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to apply for that. So I applied, and it turned out that his wife worked out in the club that I was working in and went home and told her husband, wow, you should be interviewing this girl. I think she'd be great in sales. She talks to all the members. She's out on the floor all the time. Well,
she had no idea. She had no idea.
No idea that we'd ever even spoken. And so the owner and I did reconnect. He hired me to be a GM. About 4 months later, he came to me and said, I have an idea. I think that you could actually run this company someday. And I want to move you out of that role and move you into more of a director of operations role that, is going to span a lot of areas, but I really think you can do it. But here's what you need to commit to. And it was everything that we know of in our industry today that you need to be able to do to be successful. I didn't really have any marketing experience. So I didn't have a ton of sales experience other than what I had done in that brief stint as a general manager in a club. And so he laid out some things behaviors, things that he was going to want to see, things that were going to be important for me to be successful in that role. And I wanted it badly enough that, listen, he probably could have told me I had to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, and I probably would have agreed to it.
Yeah. Can I have a rope at least? But yes, I'll jump.
I loved the company. I liked the people. I really wanted the opportunity, and it all worked out. I was there for 13 years. When I finally decided to come back to the East Coast after I got divorced, they wished me well. I left as a VP of sales and operations, and that really set the table then for me to just explore some other opportunities and get involved in some other areas of the business. And, forever grateful for that two-way commitment, because that set the stage really for me to have a career in an industry that I love.
So Merideth, I don't know if you and I love your story so much that I have to add to this, because I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this, but when I lived with my sister and David in Killeen, Texas, when I made this two-way agreement, part of it was eventually I had to find a job, but I couldn't work at a restaurant or a bar because of alcohol and all that stuff. So I started selling gym memberships at a Gold's Gym in Killeen, Texas. And,
awesome.
And it is actually the story that I use. So when I'm delivering an inspirational speech or I'm facilitating a workshop, that Gym, Gold's Gym, is the story that I use when I talk about my journey to building trust. And it, to this day, it is the best job in the world. Every professional opportunity and advancement I have achieved, I tied back to selling gym memberships at Gold's Gym. I had no idea what I was doing at all. I was like, call people from the white pages. I'm like this. Hi, this is Trish Joe, calling from Gold's Gym. But it was that mutual. You were just saying about the person who hired you and told you to go to be the director of operations, and the two-way agreement with him and the behaviors and his belief in you and all of that. I relate to it, and I wish I could find the person that gave me that path too. Okay. So I just had to share that with you. So this is
a great story, by the way.
It is. I'm like, handing out flyers.
Parallel paths, girl.
Yes. I mean, it's just crazy. And I would do the pre-sales. So I started going around Texas and Georgia and Atlanta, and I would be there for 90 days working out of the trailer. Remember how you do the trailers with pre-sales?
Pre-sale trailer, yeah.
I was the pre-sale girl. I would just try to sell memberships for 90 days, and then I would go to another place. Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.